Oh yeah, it's Comicsgate Live. I am Ethan Van Sciver. It's Comic Artist Pro Secrets and all of that. I'm a 26 year comic book veteran. Did you know that?
I
26
didn't.
years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, as of now, Narwhal. By the way, I'm joined here by Narwhal, who is a fantastic artist, somebody with a beautiful animated style. Narwhal, Comicsgate, of course, and he's got an Indiegogo campaign called. I'll just say this at the outset, but I'm going to have to repeat myself over and over again. Narwhal does have a book called Earthbound right now. It's up on Indiegogo. And I recommend you check it out. The link is in the description. But here we are, Narwhal. Here we are, Ava. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
By the way, when I said here you are, Ava, or here we are, Ava, I made like the devil sign with my hands, like heavy metal, and I pointed it aggressively at my computer screen. I'm doing it again right now. I was like, yeah, here we are. We've got Mike S. Miller. We've got Antonio Bryce. This is great times. I really appreciate Mike letting us watch him draw. Let me look at this for a second. Let's take a look at what he's up to.
I appreciate you watching me, letting you watch you draw.
Don't talk, it ruins it. Welcome everybody. Welcome Comicsgate Live. We've got about 100 people here. We're gonna get some more people. We got Time Code Mechanics. That's Nathan Brendan Masters. Nathan, welcome. Nathan, are you there?
Nathan, can you hear me?
Yes, I am.
That's not Nathan. There he is. He's laughing, but like he hasn't said hi yet.
Yeah, no, I did, but my microphone was not plugged up.
Okay,
So,
all right.
Now it's plugged up.
Happy to have you here. Happy to have Gateway into Comics joining us as well. It's okay, guys. Gateway, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, Ethan?
Good. As soon as you jump in, I'm gonna be on the ball. We've got Sweetcast, Clint from Sweetcast. What's up?
Hi. Hello, welcome, welcome me.
Yeah, you are welcome. Mikasa Sukasa.
Computer works fine for Ethan, huh, Sweetcast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We got a lot of people in the chat. Everyone's saying, "Hey, what are you drawing, Ethan?" Well, I mean, Mike's showing you what he's doing. I'll show you what I'm doing. By the way, this is not porn. I know it's going to look like porn initially, but you're going to have to take my word for it. It isn't porn. It's just unpleasant. Okay. So here we go. There we go. All right. So this is what I'm drawing. Okay.
Some hentai action there.
Oh
yeah,
my.
a little bit tentacle action. I don't know why it won't stay in focus. Probably because I'm moving the camera a little bit.
Does this break the celibacy challenge? I have to ask that question.
It would. If you were being celibate or he were being celibate, it might just do that.
This is a violation.
It is indeed. Well, she's not like look, she's being harvested. She's being pollinated. You know?
That's what I call it.
Yeah, that's what we call it, pollinating, right?
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't pollination.
We'll have to make an exception for her time, I suppose.
All right, I'm turning this off. I don't like it when people watch me draw. I'm not Mike S. Miller. I'm not Mike S. Miller or Doug Tenaple. I like to keep it to myself until it's done. Cecil is Cecil? No, Cecil's not here. People are hoping Cecil shows up. Guys, first of all, in general, how's the mood? How are you?
Ruby.
Things are fantastic. Things are going great.
Pretty good.
Yeah, well,
Pretty good so far.
Okay.
I'm spending some time watching this hilarious unfolding of Max Bemis wanting to cut his penis off.
What?
Was there a second stage to that? I saw the first.
There are like 4 or 5 stages. It's really fun and hilarious. I'm enjoying it a lot.
The final stage will be when he actually does it. That'll be good.
Correct. Affirmative.
So Max Bemis, let me see if he's blocked me. Max is so like Max wouldn't block me. The most like it's always surprising. I'm like, what, that dude blocked me? But then I'm like, why didn't that dude block me? You know what I mean? So all right, let's look at this because honestly, this is interesting, and people are talking about Max Bemis castrating himself.
It's absolutely hilarious because I mean he really didn't say anything that crazy to begin with. It should have upset the SJWs that much, but they're just going to eat him alive every time, no matter what.
They turn on you. That is the thing. Did he delete this tweet?
Probably.
Did he delete that tweet? I've got him on the 2nd of January saying, and I quote, let me just share this, and we'll see if we can work our way backwards. But it is possible that he's deleted these tweets. Now, Max Bemis is what you would call, I wouldn't call him a rock star because nobody knows who he is really. But I mean, he is he does perform in a band. I don't know. Maybe people do know. Maybe I'm just a boomer and I don't know. But he performs in a band and he also writes Moon Knight, and he is pretty good. But he does brag about being crazy, which is weird. He kind of tells people, "Look, I'm mentally ill, so don't mind what I say." And here he is. He says, "I don't know if what I said what transphobic." It's all garbage too. Let me reread this. I don't know if what I said was transphobic, but I've endured 3 days of human leeches telling me if you have a dick, you're a man. Bitches, unfollow and leave me the fuck alone, regardless of my supposed phobia. And then he says, literally, do not comment. Be with your own kind.
Wow.
What does he want? He wants balkanization of genitalia.
I'm not really sure. By the way, welcome Martina Marcota. I see you there, looking lovely. How are you?
Hi, good. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. It's good to have you with us. I know, Martina is the writer of Lady Alchemy, and is that still going, Lady Alchemy?
Yeah, I mean it's an open thing, so I mean we did, I think, pretty well thanks to coming on the show and all that. Couldn't have done it without you at all. So I'm pretty happy with it, but we did silkscreen shirts and we have these tarot cards that we're just putting out. So we want to just keep it going, and now we have these new perks open, so we're having it going.
Well, I'm gonna open it up and we're gonna look at it, Martina. But right now we're looking at a man who said, I really wish I could find this. Where is the initial tweet? If Umbrella Guy was here, he would know.
It said something like having a dong is an infection, and the only prescription.
Oh, I saw that tweet.
Yeah, he said, hey, look, no, he said, toxic masculinity. Oh, no, it's here. Look. I think he's talking about people who support him. We'll find it. You guys, you just...
I can read it right here if you'd like.
Well, I want to show it as well, but if we can't... My gosh, he goes on and on and on. Sometimes the consequences for just a single virtue signal. All right, so here it is. December 29th. So, Martina, I want you to picture this. We're in that lull between Christmas and New Year's. You know what I mean? Everybody's just kind of like enjoying their presents. Like me, I'm putting on my Star Wars socks, and I'm like, wow, I'm really glad I got these Star Wars socks.
Yeah, I mean, what I noticed too is when we're trying to like have a holiday or do something, that's when they come out of the woodwork and try to like do something. It's really annoying. I had someone around Christmas, an ex-partner of mine, try to do a copyright strike on a performance of me that we worked on together, and it got my website taken down like right on Christmas. I'm like, thanks a lot.
That's not nice. That's not a...
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah.
That's weird. That means that's when he's thinking of you, like on the holidays.
I like your spin.
That's the last thing anybody wants for Christmas, a copyright strike.
Yeah, and it was Thanksgiving that Zach got attacked, right? His channel's copyright strikes Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they do try to target the holidays, it seems.
They're all lonely. Is that what it is? Is it just sad, depressed loneliness and mental illness? They're just like, everyone else is with their families doing normie shit. I'm going to take out my rage right now on all of the people who are having a good time, and fuck you all. All right, listen, Max Bemis, by the way, when I said that the worst thing that you could get for Christmas was a copyright strike, I'm wrong. The worst thing that you could get for Christmas is castration. And Max Bemis says, I will always take apart toxic masculinity while making fun of myself, because if you have a dick, you've got the infection. God, see a doctor. I don't know what you're talking about. It just matters if you're aware enough to transcend it. Let me hold on.
Help me transcend my penis, please.
Yeah, I'm penis go away.
Meditate long enough, it won't be there.
It's gone. Oh no,
It's gone.
Okay, it's still there. This is very odd. And now he received quite a few angry reactions to this. However, Ramon Villalobos made him laugh. That's reassuring. I don't think Ramon Villalobos has much to laugh about these days. So I'm happy that the two of them are having a chuckle together. Yeah, so without linking back to anyone, blah, 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 I simply don't respond or back being labeled by a stranger in any way that labels me guilty of homophobia, transphobia, misogyny, or racism. My opposition to all the above is a defining trait. I am going to retweet this myself. I'm just going to assert this. Of course, my opposition to all of these awful things, my defining trait. Perfect. But no, it doesn't work, and he keeps going on and on and on and being harassed eventually by social justice warriors. I don't know how that became about transphobia, but it did.
Well, that's the same thing. That's the same thing that happened to H3H3 when he did the joke about cutting off his penis. Same kind of joke where I think his penis touched the stall when he was going, and he said something similar, and suddenly he was transphobic, and no one knew how or why. It just happened just like that. And then that was a joke. He was just making a joke.
The only people that are allowed to talk about cutting off their penis are men who actually cut off their penises.
So that would be John Bobbitt.
I guess.
That's why it's transphobic.
Is it like the anniversary of John Bobbitt? The reason I ask is because I saw something lately. I don't know what it was, but I saw like a movie poster that said Bobbitt, and it had a knife. All right, so it had it was a great layout. I wish I'd thought of it. It had John Bobbitt's. By the way, for the kids in the chat who don't know what we're talking about, Bob and Lorena Bobbitt, a couple. Basically the opposite of relationship goals. John Bobbitt was asleep in bed. His wife Lorena took a large knife and cut off his penis while he was asleep,
And
then threw it out the window of a moving car.
Well, he was a wife beater.
Well, who I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But
find it.
They
And
found.
they did.
And then they sewed it back on. And then didn't he do porn where it was?
Yep.
Two horns.
I think
Two.
so.
What was it called? That was the funniest thing. It was like Frankenpenis or something.
That was the second one.
Frank.
The first one. I think the first one was uncut. The first one was
Why do you know this?
because I watch porn. I do a show called Sexy Party, for God's sakes. New
Don't
episode out right now called Sex Jesus, by the way. Yes.
This better not be porn.
Antonio, don't blame God.
This is awful. How did this discussion that used to be virtuous become so degenerate so quickly? I mean, I was only talking about severed penises, and suddenly we're talking about.
I mean, you started
porno.
this all with the deep
Sex
throat
Jesus.
pollination.
Oh, it's awful.
Descent
I
into castration.
apologize. Yeah, I apologize to everyone. So anyway, so getting back to this poster, it was like half of John Bobbitt's face, and then like there was a knife blade and like in front of the other half of his face, and the reflection of Lorena in the knife blade, so that it made one head. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think anyone could have come up with a better idea.
It's really cool, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not cool, but
The design layout, but not the actual act.
does anybody have a better idea for a poster? Like, if you were assigned the movie poster for the Bobbitt story,
I would
Pretty sure
turn it
someone
down.
would come up with something that was probably a little bit distasteful, but creative.
I
Zoom
would
in
do-
and you see a bunch of cultures and just mushrooms growing on stumps and next to trees in the forest.
I would do a hand. I'd do a female hand flying, like throwing her arm out the side of a car window. That's what I would do. Bobbitt. That was the worst part of the story to me. I mean, it's like I found it on the ground. Does the 5-second rule apply to your severed penis?
Were you planning on
It
eating
must
it?
have.
I don't know. I don't want. All right, no more talk about that. Let me look up Lady Alchemy and see how it's going.
Oh man.
What?
I always get so nervous when I get on the show and then you bring up my page. It's like, ah.
It's nerve-wracking. Like, everyone's looking at me.
By the way,
it looks fantastic though.
Lady Alchemy, I'm going to buy your tarot deck for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, and I have a fascination about that. I don't know much about tarot, but I actually have about 5 or 6 decks just for the art. I think it's beautiful, and I appreciate you. Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what it's for. It's like I'm aware that not everyone is like versed in like reading tarot, but I've seen people, they have like cards, kind of like player cards or whatever. People make cards for their comic books, so it's kind of like that too. You can just collect it for the art itself and having it as cards, not just like as a tarot deck alone. So
that's right. I'm very excited. I'm definitely gonna make that purchase in the next couple weeks.
Thank you, man. That means a lot.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Let's see if other people will make this purchase as well. I think that would be nice. This is Lady Alchemy, the work and the glory of Martina Markota.
Yeah.
Do I pronounce it right? Is it Markota or Markata?
Markota. Yeah, you got it right this time. Yeah.
Awesome.
It is Bay.
It's like the state Dakota. Oh, that's right. That's right.
Oh, yeah. That's probably how you've had to tell people to pronounce your name your whole life. Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not too hard of a name, so it's good. It's good. I get Markata sometimes. I'm like, no, it's weird. Don't say that.
All right, so I like Markota. Lady Alchemy, the graphic novel. What is this about anyway? We've had you on before. Obviously, people who see this get excited about it. Some of these better campaigns get drowned, amidst just the bulk of what's out there right now. But this is definitely one that most people should be interested in. What's the storyline?
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I mean, so I know that it's like the SJWs want to insert themselves into comics, but as a woman, I think that what they said is that like women tend to do that a lot. Men don't do that as much. Try to like insert themselves. Women do that. I'm a woman, so I definitely am like, I'm a comic book superhero, but instead of taking one that already exists and trying to turn her into me, I create my own me. And I just so happen to look like a comic book, like classic comic book character. So I think it fits perfect. It works. I really like the 80s, 90s kind of comic books, the beautiful women with voluptuous curves and big hair and all that stuff. And I happen to be a performer in New York City, and I got blacklisted and all that. I've told you about that on the previous show.
Yeah, let's rewind a little bit. First of all, you're talking about like Martina, I always tell, I don't know if you were here when I started talking about this, but I talk about the Lego toy experiment that basically proved the difference between the way boys play with toys and the way girls play with toys.
I think that's where I got it from, was from you. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I mean, that sounded familiar. Like basically, girls do kind of they imagine they project themselves onto everything that they play with and that they read or that they create. So here's the difference between that and what you've done. You did create a character, didn't you? Lady Alchemy isn't really you. This is a character that you created and performed as.
Yes. So I was a performer, and I would call myself Lady Alchemy. And since it got destroyed, she's back to life in a comic book, which is what I've always wanted. So it's kind of fun, and it's really cool. I get to like relive Lady Alchemy all over again.
So what even happened? Did people figure out that you supported Trump, and then it's the same old story, right?
Yeah, it's the same old story we've been hearing. I mean, I've always been a conservative. I grew up that way, but in the arts in New York City, it's pretty taboo. But it never really was a big deal up until Trump. Then everyone was like, oh, "How dare you?"
Yeah, they're like, hate has no home here.
I always thought that they would be like, "Oh, Lady Alchemy's a Trump supporter. Maybe I should rethink what a Trump supporter is." But instead, they did the opposite. They went, "Oh, Lady Alchemy's a Trump supporter. That means you're a racist. You're evil." And I'm just like, that's not what I thought you guys would all of you would do. I thought it would be, let me rethink what I thought that was. So I'm a nice person. So it's kind of revolved around that, the basic story. But obviously, you take it to a fantastical level and make it super fun. It's like a Quentin Tarantino version of my of me as a performer, and those experiences. And me and my artist and I, we're working on how to really develop the story and different levels of what's going on. And I don't want to insert politics in there too much, so it's not going to be about Trump or SJWs or anything, but the kind of underlining story. And I think people talk about that as well. They say, oh, well, comic books always reflect what's going on at the times in society. So that is happening, but in a more subtle way. I'm explaining my story in a way where like anyone could read it and not be associated to politics and go, that's an interesting story, but it happens to reflect what actually happened to me.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it's a good fantasy for people to project themselves onto. First of all, she's a beautiful woman, so men are going to want to read about her. And second of all, most women would kind of like to be like this, or they kind of think this is cool. This is a cool fantasy. And obviously, we touch on a little bit of political stuff, some memes, some ideas. I mean, you and I have talked about these posters before. I mean, obviously, this one here is very familiar to me because I really loved Spirit Cooking. That was Martina. That was the funniest thing when that first happened, like in 2016. It was like October of 2016. I never thought I'd stop laughing. Spirit Cooking. I was like, not only are these people horrible, but there's evidence that they take place in like they take part in like bloodletting, human sacrifice rituals.
Yeah.
I'm like trying. I mean, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And this woman, of course, was human sacrifice. I hear myself there. This woman here, what was her name again?
Marina Abramovic. So it's actually really funny because I've had some people like block me like on Twitter or something, and I'm like, hey, why'd that person block me? They thought I was her because it says performance artist and it's Marina. And she's like weird, I'm kind of weird, but we're the totally opposite kind of weird. So yeah, it's funny, but the story does revolve around those ads and stuff like that. There's it's kind of like They Live, if you've seen that movie. I've actually never seen it, but a lot of people are like, oh, this reminds me of They Live. I gotta watch it.
I've never seen it either.
So they there's all these propaganda. Even I actually personally really like the one above that with the apple, and so you see the serpent coming out of the Apple campaign there, which is a bit,
that's
telling.
pretty heavy. It's the Apple logo, and there is the serpent from the Garden of Eden wrapped around it. Very, very smart.
Yeah. So there's it's in the city, from New York City and all that, but then there's an aspect of nature where I come from in the Hudson Valley, New York. When you go up north a bit, it's beautiful. There's waterfalls, it's nature, it's green, it's lush. And that's a place where I always found that you can resonate with nature. There's a frequency with everything. So there's like a frequency in the city with all of this propaganda being shoved in your face, and all the energy in the city is just different. And then when you go into nature, you vibrate at a different level. And I'm able to recalibrate or deprogram myself from that stuff. So I'm able to kind of get into this weird spiritual place, and alchemy, starts to happen, and I'm able to see all these things in the city.
Yeah. Wow, look at these tarot cards. You know what? My mom did a tarot reading on me. My mom is Wiccan.
Okay.
She flirted with it.
I thought you're Mormon. What?
No.
All the damn
my parents got divorced. My dad stayed Mormon. My mom went, I'm going to be the opposite of that. She was like, she got into like, she called herself Earth Mom and explored Wiccan, all this stuff. So she said, hey, I'm going to do your tarot card reading over the telephone. I said, I don't, Mom. She said, I'm going to do it. And she did a tarot card reading for me. And you know what? She said I was the king.
I heard it takes a long time, Ethan. Did it take like 2 hours?
No, it took 3 minutes.
Okay.
That's how clear it was.
There's different kinds of readings you could do. There's very complicated ones, and then there's simpler ones. In the tarot deck, you're actually gonna get a little booklet that teaches you how to do some readings and stuff. So
okay.
And what each card means.
Yeah, I would believe your tarot card reading. I would. Martina, if you did a tarot card reading on me, I'd believe you. I wouldn't believe my mom. My mom doesn't know anything about this. She was just like, it was a phase she was going through. And it's like she spent you spend 40 years being Mormon and now suddenly you know tarot. You don't know tarot, Mom. Mom, if you're listening, you don't know tarot. And I don't know if you keep doing that. I don't know if that's still something that you do. I haven't asked you, but I'm pretty sure that you don't know tarot because, you know, I don't know.
You should ask her to do it again.
No, because she did it in 3 minutes, and they're sitting there saying it takes 3 weeks. How could she have done it in 3 minutes?
Martina, add a new tier where one set goes to charity, which is Ethan's mom. One set of
an instruction booklet too.
That would do well.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe it. So anyway, look, those of you who haven't backed Lady Alchemy yet, by the way, the link is in the description. So if you just hit the little arrow underneath the screen, a couple of links will drop down. One of them is for Narwhal's Earthbound, and we're going to get to that. We have big news for Narwhal, from Narwhal. And then the other one is for Martina's Lady Alchemy. And first of all, I just want to go through the perks. $25 is the graphic novel. Did you add these t-shirts? Are these new?
I did. That is new. Yeah, they're already printed and everything. So you know, help me make some money back and get some. But they're really good. They're silkscreen, so it's really the old-fashioned quality of printing shirts. You can feel the texture of them. They're really well done. They're not going to wash out when you put them in the machine. So they're awesome.
Very, very nice. You will look cool at a comic convention wearing one of those. And also, you'll be sending a subtle message to those SJWs.
That's true. It'll really piss people off.
You women-hating scumbags. All right, so Lady Alchemy Tarot deck. This is what my mom needs. So for $40, my mom's going to get a tarot deck. And it has an instruction booklet. Now, who did the artwork for the tarot deck?
Yeah, I have like my secret artist, call him Maz, but it's 78. That's, you know, you could see on the perk there. It's 78 cards, so it's a full tarot deck. There's different kinds where they just have the major incarna, and the minor ones are included. It's going to be the full deck, so that's why it's a bit pricey. That and it's custom, and he has to really work on every single card. 78 cards. So, yeah, my artist is awesome. He's actually a professional artist out in LA, in California.
Oh, he's really good. He reminds me of J.H. Williams III.
He likes Nagel, Patrick Nagel.
Sure.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, everything that I bought has been about $30 in stores. So this is actually one of the things that I bought has been about $50. So this is a good average price.
Okay, good.
It's right on point for exactly what people are looking for a price point on a good tarot deck. So that's great.
Martina, all right, let me ask you a question because Mike S. Miller's here and we're on this subject. Mike, are you around?
I am around for a minute. I gotta go get some dinner for the kids.
Oh, I see. Mike, is that just an excuse right now? Be honest.
No, I literally just walked in here and said, "Mommy doesn't feel well. She asked you to go get Little Caesars."
Little Caesars.
Poor kids.
Pizza.
Pizza.
Caesars.
Here's the question, Martina.
All right.
So listen, I made the mistake of trusting my friends in Comicsgate with the fact that I like to wear a Ouija.
Yeah.
Now, I probably, looking back, it might have been a mistake. It might have been an error in judgment. It might have been a social faux pas because I put on my Ouija beanie. So you picture this. It's like beanie. It didn't have a propeller at the top, but it could have. I could have installed one. It was kind of like that, and it had a Ouija board on it. Now, everyone warned me that if I wore a Ouija beanie, ghosts were going to bother me. And I said, it's just a Ouija beanie. And by the way, Mike got upset. He left. He told me, I don't know, he said a bunch of stuff. Mike, what did you say to me? Was it?
I don't remember.
All right. He yelled at me about it. There was a Ouija board beanie. So that night, and I haven't told Mike this. Mike, I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you feel. It might validate you a little bit.
Okay.
All right. Late at night, that night, I was in bed, and Andrea was next to me. Okay, I always do. I'll reach my arm out. I'll be like, Andrea's right there. It's just one of those things I do. I felt my socks. I was wearing Grinch socks. Okay. I felt my socks being pulled off in the middle of the night. All right. Everybody have goosebumps?
This is hot.
No, it's not. It wasn't hot.
That's his new kinky shit. I like when those socks get taken off.
Taking my socks off in the middle of the night.
Foot fetishes really aren't as cool as you think they are, maybe.
Maybe that'll be the new beanie for him.
I'm just saying, there was nobody else in the room. It wasn't Andrea. And by the way, Andrea wouldn't do that. She'd be like, he's wearing his socks. Probably his feet are cold. Let him. Andrea cares about how I feel. She is concerned. Is my husband's? Are his feet cold? Well, he needs his socks. She cares about me. She cares about stuff. So it wasn't Andrea. I've ruled it out.
She doesn't want you sticking your cold feet in her back either.
I made
right.
That's true as well. That's further evidence. I made a list of all of the possible perpetrators. It went like this: Andrea, the devil, crossed Andrea out. All right.
It must be no other.
Right. So, do I have some regrets, Mike? I will let you know that I have thrown my Ouija beanie out.
Oh, I thought you were going to burn it.
No, I'm afraid to burn it.
Get the person that pulled your socks off madder if you burn it. So.
Yes. If you burn it, maybe demons will be released into the ozone. Or do demons go to the ozone layer? Do we still have an ozone layer?
half a whole ozone layer.
I feel like the ozone layer doesn't exist anymore.
So you're legitimately creeped out?
Mike, wouldn't you be creeped out?
Hell
Are you making fun of me now?
No, I would totally be creeped out.
Okay.
Maybe those socks are being tugged on to be taken off because of it was a sign to not have those socks anymore.
They were Grinch socks.
The Grinch socks are definitely filled with evil spirit.
I got a theory, Ethan. You could have been sleeping weird, so one foot went numb, and that numb foot touched the other sock.
It's like the stranger.
Yeah.
Well, then how do you explain the fact that while my socks were being taken off, a voice said, "Are you ticklish down here?"
Oh no.
Was it Grover? Was it Grover that said it?
Oh.
Are you ticklish, Ethan? Oh my gosh.
That would be horrible. Look, these are my concerns. All I'm saying is this: tarot cards, be responsible with them. Absolutely be responsible with them. By the way, Martina, don't make a tarot card hat. Wait a second.
Yeah, no, I'm not. But the thing is, there's a difference with I'm not familiar with Ouija boards. I have heard that that they are dangerous in a spiritual sense and to not really play with summoning things or whatever. So
how about putting one on your head? That sound like a good idea?
Yeah.
That's different though.
That's very different than the tarot. Tarot's you're not invoking anything. It's just pretty much if you are on the path that you are headed with your life, these are kind of ways of, it's like philosophy of trying to understand your life and what the possibilities are. It's not even predicting the future. It's just,
You're analyzing each card to figure out each step.
Yeah.
That's why they're different things. Yeah.
Things.
So it doesn't have anything to do with spirits or anything. And, even in magic or alchemy, any of that stuff, I really don't go near trying to summon anything or invoke anything. That is opening doors that I'm not equipped to handle. So I just like to stay in the let me learn as much as I can about the world that I live in and myself. It's all about yourself and trying to understand you, be a better person. So
I've read a couple of books that that talk about kind of the perspective that tarot takes in accordance with the hero's journey. And I think that's fascinating to me. Being a storyteller and a writer, I really loved, and I can't remember her name, but her name was Amy something, and she was from Britain, and she wrote a book, and she talked a lot about Joseph Campbell's hero's journey in accordance with, she even mentions Star Wars throughout, but she talks about the major arcana in the tarot deck and how from the beginning to the end, it tells the story of the hero, just like Luke Skywalker went through. I think that's fantastic. I think it's absolutely wonderful to actually see that.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm actually going to write that down because that's a really cool concept that I might kind of bring further.
I'm going to get her name before before you get out of here.
Comics Exposed says, Ethan, please leave the stream up for me to watch later. I can't watch right now, and quit freaking playing with Ouija boards and hats. So here's what I did with my hat. And these guys were getting freaked out about it, but I tried to summon Jim Neighbors.
Oh, no.
Yeah, well, he's dead, you know.
Oh, God, holy.
Seriously, if you got the ghost of Gomer Pyle, like his soul to inhabit your house, that would be kind of cool. But you'd have to. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Jim Neighbors. Who exactly was Jim Neighbors? Because you see him on Gomer Pyle, and he's like, oh, golly, you know, and all that. But the other side of him is like he's a great tenor singer. Did you ever hear him sing?
I thought you were going to talk about the butt sex. Okay.
Oh,
he's like, I don't like this path where it's going. I want it the other way.
Okay.
He was also a guy, but yeah, he was also like, ah! So it's just really, really strange that, you know. But I would like to have Gomer Pyle, the ghost of Gomer. In fact, I would like to summon probably Bob Denver too. As
so you haven't learned your lesson. You're still summoning.
Yeah, right. I heard a rumor Gomer Pyle really likes socks. So maybe that.
Get him some Grinch ones.
Are you saying to me that Gomer Pyle was asking if my feet were ticklish and pulling my socks off?
It's better than Elmo. No, maybe not. I don't know. Oh gosh, don't get me started.
He was gay. He was.
He was
get
gay,
some really dark furry kind of things going on here. We don't want to do that.
No, we don't. What we want to do is we want to back Lady Alchemy. Hey, those of you who haven't purchased a copy of Lady Alchemy, why don't you do that? There's a link in the description below the chat or below the screen. Support Martina. Let's get Lady Alchemy up there. I'm really proud of it. I mean, it's at $27,865. We like to brag that Comicsgate books always do. When they're promoted properly. Okay.
Yeah.
They
Thank
always.
You so much. Yeah, it's been incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, they always do more than 25,000. So that's this is just another win. It's another incredible success for Comicsgate, while everyone else is suffering, and we will talk about that in a second. Now, Martina, I want to introduce you to a young lad named Narwhal.
Hello, Martina. Nice to meet you.
Hello, you too.
Narwhal. He's a guy named Per Berg. If your name was Per Berg, would you be Narwhal or would you be Per Berg?
Narwhal.
Like online, I like being Narwhal because I like telling people in real life that I'm an anonymous, controversial figure online.
Oh, yeah. All right, so we've got TPQ 1969 says, EVS, what's up with your Elmo furry suit in the closet? How did you know about that? Did I say something about that?
I think I did, unfortunately. Sorry.
Yeah, it was Gateway that did because tickle me Elmo stuff.
Yeah, because I have a serious problem with furries, and I won't get into it, but yeah.
I do have an Elmo suit in my closet right over there.
Well, it's better than being furry. You're totally good, Ethan. As long as it's just Elmo or Grover or whatever, totally cool. Yeah. Puppets are awesome. Puppets are great. Furries are not.
I have a full-sized Elmo suit, and I wore it 2 days ago, and I was running around.
Hey, it's Elmo. It's not a furry suit. It's good. You're good.
Was it customized to you?
That's not the point. I'm saying, who told you that I have an Elmo suit in my closet right over there? That's what I mean. It's not that I'm not asking for a value judgment. I'm saying that's a very, very strange thing for you to know.
Remote viewing.
You also knew the date
remote
that you wore the Ouija board.
Remote viewing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I got you, Ethan. Yeah, I got you.
Is there a panda cam in there
That's
or
not
something?
true. That's really creepy.
I think so.
I was called creepy on Twitter a while back, just for telling Kate's that I won't support his work anymore. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I just you
Well,
you
I was
believe me that I have an Elmo costume in the closet over there, right? You think I'm joking about that?
I believe you. I think it's an amazing coincidence. I promise I have not been astral projecting into your
Hold
domain.
on a second. I'll be right back.
Oh wow!
He's putting it on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, can you please share your screen after you put this on, Ethan? That would be
And he has to do
fantastic.
the voice too.
Oh, no.
Well,
It's going to be. I can tell you right now, it's going to be a lot of fun. But let's show just the whole full spectrum, from foot to head, full body Elmo costume. This is incredible. I can't hype this up enough. Actually,
Do you remember
Well,
those toys that were out there that like Tickle Me Elmo? That was like super annoying.
oh yeah.
while we're waiting for him to get the
No,
the
I'm
zip-
back. I'm back already.
He's like,
That's so fast. He got to the phone booth.
Oh,
Well,
shit,
never
look
mind.
at him.
Oh, he's back. Okay.
It's my Elmo
Nope.
suit.
All right, are you going to share the screen? Yeah, there we go. All right.
Oh my God, it's happening.
All right. I'm just saying,
Oh, what is going on?
that's
Oh my
no,
God.
because some of you might have thought that was like a gag. That was not a gag. I have an Elmo suit in the closet right over there.
I am disappointed in you as a man.
What does War Campaign
Wow.
think about this?
Are you the guy that hangs out around Central Park cussing people out? Is that
No, I'm in Times Square. Like
Times Square? Oh,
yeah, like taking pictures with people's kids and then asking them for $10.
pull out a
That's what they do.
switchblade.
Oh my God.
All right, so Per Berg, artist, incredible artist, of a book called Earthbound. It's in demand right now. Also, this is the other book that's in the description right now. So I recommend that you guys check this out. Per, what is this book even about?
It's a sci-fi action story. It evolved from a horror script from a long time ago, from when I was 25. But it's two headhunters go to Earth to recruit 5 deadly warriors for this intergalactic tournament, and they have these guns called R-types, so they can shoot anyone, and that person kind of is forced to join their team. So they build teams, and they're competing against each other to see who can get the 3 out of 5 of these targets that are on Earth. They have to find them and grab them, and that's about all it is, I guess.
That's legit.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's heavily influenced by like Battle Royale. It's like the
Yes, I was going to say battle royale in space with lasers, right?
Yeah, and a quick little mini story is there's a little overlap with like how the story works. It's like it could be like a Nerf war or a capture the flag war or a paintball war, and the story would be similar, but this is just like sci-fi. And there was a Nerf guy in Singapore named Tungsten. He really responded to the Nerf stuff because he's a electrical engineer, Nerf modder. So there's this whole community out there, and he backed the book a whole bunch. And he and I have become really good friends. And guess how he found the book? He met me through Ethan. So Ethan had me on. Oh, Ethan. you met me through Elmo there. So Elmo makes dreams come true, puts together people from across the world, like a 24-hour time difference. And I don't know, it's kind of cool.
That's fantastic. I'm very glad that I backed your book. In fact, I just want to share with the entire chat kind of my perspective on your book specifically. I haven't seen a project so compelling when it comes to lights and movement, right? So I think an aspect that so many artists are lacking is the perspective of consistent movement throughout the entire book. There's always something moving in every single panel that you show in your Twitter. And not only do I appreciate that, I think it's probably one of the most valuable visual experiences that I think that people could buy on Indiegogo right now.
Thanks. Yeah, I've gotten some notes that the pacing's really fast. There's not too many bubbles on each page, and the movement's fast, and the style's kind of simple. So in some, it's like people kind of blow through it. Some people read it twice. It's 140 pages, which is quite a bit, good amount for an Indiegogo. And I was going to say too, we're at like 11,600, 11,700 right now. If we get to 12,000, that's a good stretch goal. That includes Nosferatu, which is a whole nother comic as digital to everyone. So the page count you'll get, there's 2 shorts included also. So it's approaching 200 pages of content, which is a lot, you know.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, very, very cool. So if you haven't backed Earthbound yet, I mean, the link is in the description. Obviously, this is a labor of love for Narwhal, also known as Per Berg. And I think
Ethan,
you should.
Thank you so much, Ethan. And one last thing too, this is kind of the good news is Cautionary picked it up. So I'm working with Benjamin Hennessy and Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron and Brett Smith. And so there's going to be a second printing that will be different than this one. It'll be different color, different cover. It won't include any shorts, comics, or anything like that. But so that makes this one extra special too. So everyone should get in on this one. It's only open for like 5 more days.
Signed copy. That's right.
Yeah.
Awesome. David the Bergerac for $10 says EVS is a furry. No, I'm not a furry. I mean, I just have an Elmo costume. All right, so support Earthbound because we do have to make a difference. I mean, we've got to come together and change comics, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. This is Coliseum of Comics right here. Coliseum of Comics is basically Southern Florida, Central Florida, I should say. Their chain of comics stores. Now, I used to live in Orlando, and by the way, I've told you guys this story before. You see this shop here? This is the store that I used to go to. Now, this is the store that's on Orange Blossom Trail. Now, if you live in Orlando, you know that Orange Blossom Trail is where you go if you want porno or hookers or comics. I witnessed a shooting at I witnessed a shooting at a 7-Eleven when I was going to Coliseum of Comics one day. It was one of the strangest, most surreal things of my life. Just sitting there, the first one in line at a green light at an intersection, and there was right to my front left, there was a 7-Eleven, okay? And all of a sudden, while I'm waiting at this red light, I hear boom, 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 boom. And this dude bursts out of the 7-Eleven, firing his gun. Okay, he had a handgun, firing his gun right back in the store and running out into traffic across the street. And this happened right next to Coliseum of Comics. And I just sat there and watched it like I was watching a movie. It was very strange. I didn't feel like in danger. I was like, And then I saw the cops come screeching around the corner and they got the guy.
Well, that's very dangerous.
Yeah, it was dangerous, but I did get my copy of The Flash, which was the whole reason I was going out there. Yeah. So Coliseum of Comics, this guy, Phil Boyle, writes a column for ICV2. It says something has to change. Zach predicted that this would be the end of the comic book industry this year. I was startled when he said that. I thought we had 5 years. Zach says this is going to be the year, and it's an interesting prediction. After he said that, a bunch of articles started to emerge talking about how comic book retailers are closing down shop, and that's it. I mean, once we reach a critical mass, once there's only 1,500 comic book stores or less in the continental United States, that's it. There's not enough retail outlets to ship enough comics to make it worthwhile to publish comics. Right now, they're just under 2,000. So that's alarming. Something has to change. Guest column by Phil Boyle of Coliseum Comics. Phil Boyle. By the way, I'm so glad that this is not Bleeding Cool.
This is such a good article, by the way, and I agree with that sentiment. Unfortunately, I don't think it'll be this year, but I think it'll be the year after 2020. Honestly, I really do. So, I mean, yes, I agree with Zach, but just a little bit delayed. Honestly, unfortunately, I don't want that to be the case.
Yeah, I don't want it to be the case either. But look, I mean, these people, the Comicsgate is kind of opposed to within the comic book industry are doing this. They're punishing these retailers. It's like we've been Cassandra, just crying out about this for 2 years now. And, we get called racist. We get put into a corner. We get articles written about how we're a hate group and all this stuff. And in the meantime, Phil Boyle is sitting here, worried about his livelihood. I mean, this is his entire life, and it's going to end because of what's going on here. So, yes.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right. And it's fascinating for them to call us racists while they typecast writers and only allow Black artists to write Black characters, just like Christopher Priest in his article that he released last month. It absolutely, in fact, blew me away. That they're actually, that someone actually posted that article, and that they're transferring that racist perspective on all of us in Comicsgate, and when we're the exact opposite of that, in fact.
Of course we are. Mr. Millennium says, Ethan, I have some pictures that I drew that I want to give you. How can I give them to you? Oh, send them to me. My Twitter is at Ethan Van Skyver, and I'd love to see them. Thank you. Yeah, these people, it's all a distraction technique. They just want to silence us. They want to stop us from stopping them, from what they're doing, which is to use this formerly semi-healthy industry and hobby as a platform to just espouse their bullshit until it dies, and that's it.
I just looked up the article because I wanted to see what it said. I was like, "Ooh, this is interesting." And what I found interesting is that he doesn't just list a bunch of issues. There's his solutions, which that's awesome.
Yeah, this guy, Phil Boyle, does. That's right. We're going to go through it. Mark C says Mile High Comics closed its Glendale, Colorado location. Yeah, we reported on that in the earlier live stream that I did today. All right, Phil Boyle, whose Coliseum of Comics chain is the largest comics and games retailer in the Southeast, has shared his thoughts on what he sees as his top 8 problems in the comic business, his solutions, and what publishers can do. And by the way, we tend to agree with almost all of these. So here he goes. Just a nice intro. Here's the problem. 90% of the books coming off the stands at the end of their shelf life have zero value as a back issue. And I will tell you, so he says, after 3 months, many books become box fillers and dead items that take up space. No one is looking for a 3-issue miniseries 6 months removed unless it features a new character and there's a rumor circulating about her inclusion in a movie that was possibly greenlit. Between February and October, we had, at cost, nearly $100,000 in books that were taken off the stands. 60% were instantly unsellable. 30% will languish if they're still here in 3 months. Astonishing. And okay.
Sorry, Ethan. Sorry to interrupt. I've got to go, but I was wondering. I just wanted to mention that I did something today a lot of people are excited about. But I'm actually releasing one of my novels, and so it's free. I'm just asking people to join a mailing list. If you don't mind, I'm going to just drop that in the chat. And anybody that's interested in downloading it and getting on my mailing list, that way you can be up to date on my comic Downcast when it's launched. So.
Oh, I saw that today. That's a good idea.
Sweet.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I dropped it in the
thank
chat
you.
there, and thanks. Yep.
Okay, so his solution is we're looking at each title, and any title that falls in the 90% range is slated for sellout. We used to order for backstock, and we still will on that 10%, but the rest are now on their own. This means we cut to obvious sales. I mean, this is huge. Guys, they're just going to be like, all right, we're not going to take a chance anymore. Why should we take a chance on any of these books? They don't sell. They're just not selling.
Yeah.
And what publishers can do, this is the rallying cry of Comicsgate. Returnability is only part of the solution, but we do have to make returnability a thing.
That's the biggest thing, isn't it? That's the biggest thing. I can't stop thinking about it. It drives me wild. That's the big one. And there are, and I'm telling you, this article is so powerful in the fact that they really address the major things that matter so much in the industry from mom and pop shops that we care about so much in Comicsgate. And when it comes to that, and when it comes to our reaction to it, gosh, let's just put ourselves in the position of, let's support the court of the people who are being destroyed by this far SJW infiltration of the industry.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not. I mean, these people they take all the risk. They take all the risk, and there's no incentive for them to do anything better. I mean, Martina and Pear are doing their comic books, and they have every incentive to put out the very best comic book that they can. They're not making money on just spamming comic stores.
That's true, because I want to do it again, because the funds are keeping me so I can work part-time at the Fred Meyer Deli, because working full-time is like soul crushing. So I need to do the best I can so that everyone likes it and will support the next book.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely trying to do the best I can with this as well. This is my saving grace for Lady Alchemy, and I really need it. And I was just thinking, is there a way to we can help them out and it helps us out by working together? Like, what if we give them comics on consignment? So they're not at a loss, but if they sell and it gets put into other people's hands that do like to visit in person, it's like a win-win situation,
Martina, I feel like that would be an amazing experience for all of the people involved in the transaction, because it really is a transaction. And in that case, that suggestion, in my opinion, and I'm not a retailer, but at the same point, I can see how attractive that would be, and I would support that 100%. Of course,
Yeah, I have to think about it, but it's an interesting idea. I don't know about consignment because, well, I mean, initially, it's the same thing as returnability, except they have to answer back to you about how many copies sold. So as it stands right now, most stores probably wouldn't be willing to do that kind of follow up, and that is the situation. We don't really have to do much as independents. We're not. First of all, we're going to probably not get the kind of orders. The problem is that in order to keep their store open, they have to sell tons and tons of copies of Marvel and DC comics. The indies, they take a small chance on it. They take a risk. If it sells, it's not too big of a loss. But when they order, 150 copies of the Avengers and only 20 of them sell, it's like that stuff's meant to keep their store open. It's meant to keep their store open. So returnability. What's this? Oh, I want to read the rest of this. With every issue declining after number 1, retailers cut their orders to keep ahead of the precipitous drops. We can't afford to put $2 cost into stocking one extra issue of everything in fleeting hopes of selling one more copy. It's roulette. And betting on black or red, one you win, the other you lose. So orders continue to drop, and there's no seeding copies on the stands. Here's the pitch. Give us a declining match 2, and then sell us anything above that for 50 cents. What about that? Yeah, I know the math. The first copy costs $10,000. The second and every copy thereafter is 15 to 22 cents. So meet us halfway. And sell us seed copies. It removes the need for returnability, puts more books on the stands, and helps retailers with the cash flow. Without this, the sliding sales scale towards zero is hastened, and more titles get canceled. This guy's a genius. Of course he is. That's a great idea. That's a great idea.
It really is. I mean, to embed yourself into that perspective. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally. Just to be like, hey, if you want us to, issue 1 sells 100 copies, and so most people order 100, and then they order 50 of issue 2 because they're just not expecting the same return. Well, I don't know. Let us buy them for a much, much cheaper price to keep the title on the stands. Brilliant. Yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, so sorry. I was gonna just add. I'm totally interrupting the process here, but Martina, I just wanted to say the book that I was thinking about was Tarot 101 by Kim Huggins. Her name was not Amy, it was Kim, and she does talk about the hero's journey in that book. I do not own that book, but I own a book about writing that talks about that book because I'm a writer, comic book writer, and from what I can tell, that's a really good book because it doesn't just cater to beginners, but it also talks about the hero's journey in writing and how it matches up with the greater arcana. And then again, this is fascinating how the Myers-Briggs personality profiler adds up to the entire court cards, which is exactly the same perspective. And it's a fascinating book from what I can tell.
Kim Huggins, like hugging, like we're hugging each other.
Huggins, Huggens.
ENS. And what is it called?
Tarot 101. She talks about a lot of writing things, which is really cool. Once again, I don't own that book, but however, I own a couple books that reference this book, so it's a powerful one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, I think that would be a really cool thing to also implement in my book as well. You know, use those motifs. I like to use alchemical motifs and formulas of transmutation. The Negretto or Albedo, Rubetto, like the stages of the alchemical process. But to use that would be really cool as well. So I'll look into it. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome.
My pleasure. I can't wait for your book once again. I think that you and Narwhal's books are going to be fantastic. I cannot stress enough how incredible this movement is.
You guys have to pay attention to the chat. The chat is saying, do this on your own time, privately. We're talking about an article.
Sorry, guys. My apologies.
You have to remember one thing: when you're on a live stream with 1,000 people, you go, "Is this interesting to everyone or not?" That's the thing. So, all right, I want your participation in this article. I want you to pay attention. This is important. Number 2, problems, reboots. No surprise, but every jumping on point creates in its wake a jumping off point. There's a greater concern though, continuity. No, not continuity of Spider-Man wearing a hat on page 3 when he had his head cut off on page 2. Continuity of series collecting. The industry was built on reading and collecting comics. When you reboot, what has gone before is no longer valid, which contributes to 90% mentioned in problem 1. With the prevalence of reboots, fans no longer feel invested as they know that nothing is any more permanent than the current creative team. God damn, is that true? And we,
this guy is brilliant for doing this. Like, everyone needs to hear this,
Yeah.
I mean, we all believe this, obviously. That's what everyone is talking about. But it's nice that there's an article out there other than some shit article,
it's funny. It's like the comic book industry in general just tends to be one gigantic grift. It's like, it really is. It's one scam after another in order to keep the numbers up. Like, they have a certain amount of money that they're trying to make in order to produce a lot of these SJW comics that go out on the shelves. And in order to keep that number inflated, they have any number of like scams, tricks, and grifts to keep that number up there. And one of them is, hey, let's cancel everything and reboot it with a brand new relaunch to get some attention. And then initially the comics are going to sell really well. And then, of course, people are going to go, I don't really like this as much as what I was reading before. It was an interesting little event, but it's not. I'm probably going to leave comics now. And I'm probably going to go kick my dog. And all because of these countless, and don't kick your dog over comics, countless, endless reboots. Okay. Yeah, that's a grift. We'll get to more grifts. He lists them here. He says, my solution, keep making excuses. That's not really a solution, which is why this one is solely on the publishers. Stop relaunching everything. And the thing about comics is that, if you're reading Wonder Woman and you've been reading Wonder Woman your whole life, you're invested in the story. It's one big long soap opera. And then to just cut it off and then move on to, hey, the relaunched Wonder Woman where none of that shit happened before. Now what you've done is you've made all those back issues less collectible, okay, for the retailer. It's like, those don't matter. They didn't happen anymore. They didn't happen. And then you've kind of cut off all the relationships and all of the tension and the continuity that people were actually, they'd invested real money and time in. So, what publishers can do, commit to an at least 5-year plan. Even if creative teams change, the number shouldn't, so that some continuity of series is in place. Simple as that. Now, I've sat in on meetings with DC Comics where they've said, look, the problem is that people, they go into a comic store and they see that Batman is on issue number 697, and they're just like, "You mean I got to go buy 696 back issues?" Nobody says that. Nobody says that. They just buy a copy of Batman. And, fans that are new, they don't even look at the numbers. They don't really even know. They just go, "Oh, Batman comic." And if you hook them with the story, then they go, "I want to see if I can find 696 and 698. They don't say, "Oh my God, it's just too overwhelming." And in any case, that problem is only alleviated for one single month. Then you're on issue number 2. And then the guy's like, "I missed issue 1, so F it."
It's too late at that point. You're absolutely right.
It's like just leave things alone. And again, that is it's part of it, this ongoing like con job where it's, hey, how can we get more people to buy our shit? We just kind of cut off our fan base at the knees, our loyal fan base, in order to attract this audience that might not exist out there.
They don't exist. The majority of them, in my humble opinion, I think that it's they're inflating a market, and it's fake outrage.
Yeah.
Well,
By the way,
sorry.
No, I just want to say real quick, by the way, Lady Alchemy has just jumped up to $28,237, which is fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. And Earthbound, let's see if we got a little change on Earthbound. Yeah, we did. We're at $12,000 now, 12,017. So we met that goal.
I know. I saw that. That's amazing. And I didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, thank you so much. And thanks, Ethan. Making dreams come true. I can't believe it. But yeah, stretch goal just live met. So that's awesome.
Fantastic. I'll go back and forth, guys. Don't you worry. We will check in. Those of you who are listening to the article and thinking about supporting the creators that are involved in this stream, we have Per Berg, also known as Narwhal, with his Earthbound graphic novel. And of course, we have Martina Marcoda from Lady Alchemy. Both links to the Indiegogo campaigns are below the screen. While you're listening, shop around, shop and look at what's available, and back these two creators, and let's make these projects as successful and intimidating visually. I mean, this is the thing. I want people to see these and go, "Oh my God, why does Comicsgate keep winning?" We just do. We just keep winning.
And I wanted to say too, there is a $15,000 stretch goal, which is to include another comic, because I got all these backlog comics. So the amount of comics I can share, it could go up to 230 pages if we hit 15K.
Wow.
Wow, that's awesome. All right, so support these comics. All right, let's get back to
well, I was gonna say one thing back to my comic and then the article. On my comic, yes, there's Lady Alchemy. Lady Alchemy is all over the place, but with the tarot deck, not only do you get some cool cards and a tarot deck, but you'll kind of get introduced to some of the other characters that are in this graphic novel. So you'll get more familiar with other characters. That's all I have to say.
Awesome.
A little flavor, a little taste of what's to happen. But according to the article, I was just going to say something about how the SJWs, they hate it when we complain about changing the comics. Stop changing, stop rebooting, because I've done videos on it, and oh my God, I started getting attacked by all the whole slew of people when I complain about reboots on stuff. But there's a very, very valid reason that we're complaining about it, as this guy points out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so all right, so they want you to commit to a 5-year plan. I say just not even a 5-year plan. Just leave it alone. Just leave it the hell alone. I mean, whatever you're going to do, stick to it at this point. You can move around creative teams, but the storyline has to stay the same, and the numbers on the book have to stay the same. That's important. All right, so number 3, the problem: first issues. This is the most abusive part of comic ordering. The word abusive. Think about that. I mean, this is awesome. Let's define a first issue before I go on. Any issue ordered with no previous sales data for the title. If it's weekly, every issue ordered before we have a week of sales data on number 1 is a number 1 for ordering purposes. If it's a one-shot, it's a number 1. If it's a number 1, it's a number 1. Just clarifying on that one. Every number 1 these days seems to be a double-sized or larger than normal-sized issue that adds $1 or more to the number 1 cover price, exacerbating retailers' exposure. Yeah, and this is the thing. Why they're just putting out #1 issues all the time because there's still this sense that issue #1 is collectible. Not so.
Yeah, it just makes the sales higher for them to constantly have #1s because they know they can at least, have a better shot with selling those.
Yeah. My solution to all of this for Comicsgate is just, first of all, you start thinking of comics the way J.K. Rowling thinks of Harry Potter books. Stop having numbers on them. They should be titles. This is one big story, and it is called Cyberfrog Blood Honey. And the next one's called Wrecked Planet. And the next one, and that's kind of how you do it, rather than just having a #1. That eliminates the the speculation on the first issue, and it also just kills off this idea that the second issue is going to be split in half in terms of sales for no reason other than just the number on the front cover. It's stupid. It's a dumb thing.
That's what I do. I still have numbering, but a lot of my stuff is I do limited series with the same, it's the same book, but it's limited series. The series has a title. It's usually about maybe 1 to 3 books, and then move on to the next thing. So it makes things a lot. It frees you up, as well as people can jump in at any time and just get whatever number of books in that series.
What's going on, everybody?
How you doing? Oh, Yellow Flash is here. Hello, Yellow Flash.
Yellow Flash. It's fantastic to see you. Yeah, in fact, you do my favorite reviews on comic books. In fact, hey.
Well, thanks.
Wait, who does your favorite reviews?
Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash, in fact. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, hey, him and DNC, but yeah. Yellow Flash really rips it up. Yep. with a knife, in fact.
Yellow Flash has a hint of just exasperation.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. Like he's sick of this shit.
Yeah, it's good.
You got to straddle that line with Edge and not getting booted off the platform. That's what I found.
Yeah,
so weird. So weird that you get, you could get booted off the platform for just being critical. All right, so we're going through this Yellow Flash. We're talking about the end of the comic book industry, which is imminent. Here's a smart retailer who is explaining exactly what the problems are, as if anybody's going to listen to him other than us, because this isn't about sales. This isn't an industry anymore for anyone except for retailers. For everyone else, this is just a hipster club that they get to gatekeep. And the books they put out can be unsellable garbage aimed at Hollywood or aimed at calling the fans Nazis. That's basically what it is. All right. So he says, my solution. My solution. If it's a weekly series, it's predatory publishing, and it gets subs only orders. 0 for the stands. Sell out. In 3 months, no one will remember it anyways. If it's a horribly priced #1, we order to sell out. There will be a second printing if it's that great of a book. We're done chasing incentives. I love this guy. We'd rather chase profits. I just did a fist pump in the air. On one shots, we order subs and what we feel will be a guaranteed sellout, which is what we think we might sell minus 20%. This goes for any second issue as well that we have to order before #1 hits the stands. Think about that. Like you have to order a #2 and #3 before you even see how #1 sells.
That's heavy.
It's the way this industry is, dude. It sucks. Everything needs to change. It all needs to be torn down in order to survive. It's just rotten wood. It all needs to be torn down.
Do you believe
that's all the manga format, man? I mean, look, you get 141 pages for $10. I don't see how you beat it. And then, you know what they're doing is they're pulling in kids. That's another big thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Ethan, look what I got on my screen share.
What do you got? Let me hang on a second. Let's see here. Okay. That's me. Yeah, I hope that's not. I hope that wasn't what happened. I really do.
What's this all about? Is that the Elmo saying fuck or whatever?
No. It was a story from earlier today combined with another thing that happened, and you had to be here. You had to be here to get it. It's two weird things at once.
Man, we're talking about furries and Elmo, and it's really creepy. You're absolutely right, guys.
One of these guys goes, Ethan, what about that Elmo suit in your closet? And I don't know if he was kidding or not, but I do have an Elmo suit in my closet down here, and I busted it out.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
Was it? Were you Elmo for Halloween or something?
Yeah, that's right. Ava was Abby Kadabi, and they wanted me to be Elmo.
That's hilarious.
So I got an Elmo suit and walked around carrying Abby Kadabi, and all the kids were like, Elmo. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going inside. It was a very quick Halloween. All right. So in any case, well done, Narwhal. Well, this is why you have to support Narwhal's book.
Yeah, someone in the chat said that you should be wearing the Ouija board hat.
I threw it out. I did. I threw it out because
in the picture.
Yeah.
That would be an improvement. I need to Google what one looks like. I need to, because I don't know what to imagine in my head. A Ouija board on your head. I don't know what
it was a yellow. Like think about just like a winter hat that you wear outside. Like one of those. It had a black like folded up band, and it was yellow with black Ouija board lettering all over it. So that's what it was.
Okay, cool.
It was cool. There's no doubt about that. All right, so here's more of the con job. Yellow Flash. We're discussing the fact that the entire comic book industry is a scam.
Oh hell yeah, it is. From the distributing to the comic stores, everyone's ripping everybody off. That's what's going on.
What publishers can do, set a reasonable number based on a similar book, which should not be 3 times of one of the mega crossover events. Anything above that, sell it to us at the aforementioned 50 cents. That's all you get. And this is before we go to returnability, because that's coming too. But you're going to have to cut these books down to 50% or 50 cents. It would provide more sell-in and more copies of the books on the stands. If we don't have number 1, then our chances of selling number 2 fall to immeasurably low numbers. This right here is incredible. Number 4, the problem: special covers from issue to issue. This is predatory publishing. God damn, I love
Marvel.
this guy.
Marvel, man. They have 15 issues of Conan the Barbarian. 15 covers for that book that came out yesterday. Or was
God,
it
what a bunch of scumbags. This article is testosterone is surging through every. I love this. This is
heroic tier.
Yeah, it's a high tea article, man. This is badass.
Article.
Yeah, it's amazing.
All right, this is predatory publishing. Goddamn right. 14 covers on number 1, 4 on number 2, one of which is a Scotty Young variant. Boy, that's a diss.
Well, Marvel seems to do that more than DC. DC usually has like 1 or 2 covers for a book. Seems like just the variant and the main book. And then Marvel will shoot out 45 covers for anything.
Ugh. I used to know Scotty Young.
Well, it's the only way they can keep those numbers up. That's all this is. It's just look.
It's a trick.
So that Joe Quesada can say, "Well, look, everyone's saying the comic industry is dying, but explain these numbers." This is how you explain these numbers. You're not selling comics. You're stealing from retailers. Let me repeat that. You're not selling comics. You're stealing from retailers.
Amen.
That's what's going on right now. This is predatory publishing. 14 covers. All right, one of which is a promotion of the month cover. In other words, it's like, hey, here's a bunch. Every cover has a selfie. It's a selfie theme. Number 3 has 1 cover, but number 4 has 3 covers again. This is an obvious ploy to keep retailers from gauging actual interest or gauging actual interest in the title. Wow. And inevitably leads to unsold books on the stands. Without some degree of stability, we're ordering blind. Damn, dude. Damn. That is absolutely correct. If you have, oh my God, this is awesome. If you have 50 variant covers on a single issue of Batman, okay, retailers don't know how many copies to order for issue 2 because some of these guys may have ordered more than one. They may have purchased more than 1 copy to collect some of these variants. So this completely confuses their ability to judge what they should order next time. And that is a scam. That is a scam. That is ridiculous. And he says it's intentional.
It is.
It is.
I agree. These people are preying upon mom and pop shops in order to stay afloat because the business is dying and they will not admit it. And that you're right.
They could say they have sales by doing that.
That's all it is. And that way they're able to tell us, oh no, look, our social justice comics are selling just fine.
Everybody wants them.
Bullshit. I'm cursing a lot.
You got the Hulk learning about white privilege this week. That was great.
I saw your
I want to be
video on
like
that.
you,
That was
Bruce
legit.
Banner.
Yeah.
Bruce Banner, I want to be like you.
I want a piece of that pie.
I'm so glad that I did not buy that book. Thank you for reviewing it.
The rest of the book is fine. It's just you got to throw that shit in there, man. Got to get that preaching on you.
One page will kill it.
It definitely killed it a little bit for me.
Hell yeah, me too.
I'm just waiting for Venom to learn about white privilege next with his gay symbiote.
I don't think he'll do it. I don't think he will.
Oh, all right.
Fingers crossed.
I mean, it's just this. I love comics so much. I'm like, this is infuriating. This is absolutely infuriating. This industry is just...
Somebody said Hulk smash glass ceiling.
That should have been the cover to She-Hulk #1. Oh, that would have been great. All right. Okay, so his solution is ordering to sell out. Ordering to sell out. So in other words, bare minimum. You're ordering 20% less than you actually anticipate that you're going to sell. You want to sell out. Then ordering blind sounds much better from my financial end. I'll be cutting to absolute sales levels. Before anyone cries that I'm being the maker of my own low sales prophecy by cutting orders, let me assure you that each of my stores will continue to carry the iconic characters and books championed by staff. Most fans can't afford to buy all the comics they want, so removing the 4-issue spin-off, barely sequitur to anything miniseries from their options will actually be a relief. Damn, I hate making fans think they need to buy every nuanced tie-in when they can enjoy the books they read and are excited about without muddying that experience. This guy's a hero.
This guy's awesome.
I know him too, and he is badass, dude. He's cool. What publishers can do? Call the stand filling minis. I know bottom line and more immediate bottom line right now, but you're killing the market, which means bottom line tomorrow will be worse. They don't anticipate tomorrow. None of these people are worried about what they're going to do tomorrow. They're just, what can we do today? We got to, the quarter sales are coming out, and we got to make sure.
Well, why would they? They just promoted a proud socialist as a senior editor at Marvel.
They did?
Yeah, what's his name? The dude with the poop beard. The guy who plays the ukulele, Jordan D. White.
No, they put.
Yeah, he's senior editor now. That's the dude that came out and said, what is it, a couple months ago? I saw that Asian Rich movie, but the socialist in me just couldn't enjoy it.
Oh, then that means Marvel is doomed to fail at this point.
Yeah.
If those are the kind of people that they're putting in the upper echelons, is how do you put someone up there that doesn't like money? That's the problem.
That would be my bare minimum standard. It's like, are you an SJW? No, well, yeah. What? Then you're not getting hired, or you're fired. Well, why? Because you're a socialist, because you're anti-capitalist, and because this is a business. These people are in the business of social justice right now. James Dean, creator of Conflict, thanks for $10. While this nailed retailer issues, another recent video I watched has explained how Marvel pads numbers by pushing leftist crap to library associations, then relaunches in stores by popular demand. Yeah, absolutely.
That's what they did with Iceman and Wasp.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, the problem, discounts. How many problems are there here? Multiple problems. So I think we're listing 8. So this is good. I love number 6. I can't wait to get to that one. The problem, discounts. I have all the expected expenses for business. Labor is on the rise. Insurance costs have skyrocketed. After 7 years of double-digit growth, sales have been mostly flat over the last 2 years. Those are the SJW years, aren't they? Those are the years of diversity in comics. How about that?
Kind of kicked off when I want to say like Secret Invasion, I think, is when things were really kind of went off the chain for them.
Yeah. Milkshake Girls. Sales have been flat since the Milkshake Girls. who are not flat. Prices go up, but it just means fewer comics sold for the money. The math is I can no longer allow publisher space at 50% non-returnable discount. The sales tail is too short, and the variables are too many to accurately gauge sell-through. I have 2,000 dedicated fans of all things geeky coming through my doors a week. You get access to them, my smiling staff, my well-lit stores, and they're beautiful. And our reputation as a great comic store. I'm paying a lot to provide that. You have your expenses, I have mine. That Marvel can sell recent $4.99 books to Walmart that go for $3 for $5 means that the cost of these books are substantially cheaper than what they could be sold to us for. Damn.
Wow, that's damning. Exactly.
Subs only on non-returnable books that are 50% or less discount. We have only so many books to choose from. We have so many books to choose from now that I can literally cut 40% of titles and almost no one will notice. As breadth is a recipe for diminishing returns, fewer can be better. Make me need to carry your product. What publishers can do, if you can't exceed 50%, give me free incentive copies to make up for it. 1/5, not even a special cover. Same cover is fine, preferred. Buy 5, get 1 more free. If I'm buying non-returnable, the conversation needs to start at 60% with incentives for the growing market. Okay, this is the best one ever, guys. This is Yellow Flash.
I've been waiting for it. Yeah, no, I know what you're about to say. I've been reading along.
Let's take a break. Let's look at Lady Alchemy. Lady Alchemy. By the way, I hope you guys are thinking about supporting this book. The link is below in the description. We sold a few more copies. It's at $28,346. If you haven't yet backed Lady Alchemy, Martina, what's it about, real quick?
Well, it's about a New York City burlesque performer who starts seeing some freakish things happening while she's out performing, and meets another magical, mystical character that starts to explain to her what's really going on in the city and how people are being taken over by these demons and spirits, by the propaganda and the energies that's going on in the city. And then she goes into the country to learn her craft a little bit more, and fun stuff starts to happen. Lady Alchemy comes to life.
It sounds cool. D says it's about a lady who is an alchemist. That's the short. Yeah, that is that is the summed up version.
So many words.
Yeah, she's got t-shirts, and this is something to look at closely. The Lady Alchemy tarot card deck. And by the way, the art is absolutely gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. Get involved, be a part of this, support and back this comic book for Martina. And then over here we've got Earthbound by Perberg, otherwise known as Narwhal, who, by the way, is being published by Cautionary Comics. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so there'll be a second print, so that makes this one kind of limited edition, special edition. Ethan, can you scroll down just a little bit? I want to show some of the pages too.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But yeah, it's got this kind of high energy animation style art, fast pace read, 140 pages. With now we've been reaching some stretch goals, so there's other things are included, like a couple others of my past comic projects are included, so the content's really getting up there, 200 pages or so.
You're not going to run into any problems with Nintendo, are you, with that name?
No, there was SJW Spider-Man tried to deplatform me or whatever early in the campaign.
Oh,
and,
that guy!
Of course
oh my
he would
God.
try.
Yeah, that guy's the worst. I blocked him right away.
What do these people do this for? They don't even make any money. Like, I don't get
that
this
person is a
Yeah,
nightmare.
that's kind of strange. Why does he care so much?
I don't
don't know. It's like their full-time job. Like we were thinking maybe they get paid by someone even. I don't know.
Maybe like a disability check.
He wants
It's
to
on it like all day long. It's like, how do they have time to be these kind of nasty people?
destroying
all day.
profits. Yeah, destroying profits. It's crazy.
So it seems like from what you explained in that artwork right there, I think my artist was talking about you on our streams. We do a Tuesday art stream, And I think you mentioned your work and how it's like fast paced and it's a different style than most people are used to. And you thought it was really interesting.
Cool, that's awesome. Yeah, it's heavy European influence. Like my two favorite artists are Bengal and Lorenzo, which is spelled LRNZ, kind of whatever. He's an Italian guy. And if you look up their art, like my art's a lot like that, except they're much better than me.
That's cool. Do you do it live at all? Because like my artist will on our Tuesday stream, you guys can watch him doing all the art. We do it right in front of you, and he does it on Adobe. So he kind of goes along and teaches you guys like what he's doing and what his techniques are and whatever. But I think that'd be really fun to watch. You just do like fast style.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I should do more of it. I do a little bit of it. I have my own channel. It's just called Narwhal Books is the YouTube channel. But I do a lot of coloring tutorials because people like my coloring too.
Colors are gorgeous. Look at this swimming pool panel here. You don't understand. These color choices are just sublime. They're beautiful. Great job.
Thanks. Yeah, one of the tricks is getting that sunlight gradient, right near the sky, kind of. That helps make it feel hot out there.
Yeah, this is a good looking book. Hey, somebody asked in the chat, they want to know where the stretch goals are listed. Like they want to know what they can look forward to. Do you have them listed here?
I've just been posting them in the updates, so I need to find a way to organize that. But I have them all notated, and there's like people are getting some little kind of fun ones like business cards for being a headhunter for the 13th sponsor, like a world building thing. And then I'm including the inspirational postcard of that art I drew a while back, Ethan, of Cyberfrog helping people skydive off the cliff, and then the fans are the air that keeps them flying or whatever. So I'm going to include that. And then the extra comics and two shorts too. There's one short is called The Naked Samurai, and the other one's called Robozan, which is about like a robot monkey in the forest.
Awesome. All right, so we've got that. We've got Lady Alchemy again. Guys, support these comics. Throw some. Oh, just sold some more copies. Back them, and I hope you enjoy them. And it's good. You're going to get to watch them kind of get made. They couldn't get made without you, and we certainly do love you guys for supporting Comicsgate books. All right, so back to the article here. Here's the problem. Number 6, books without a market.
What? Man-eaters.
We all know what they're talking about. We all know what they're referring to. When they say books without a market, we're talking about these social justice warrior books that are specifically being made for a microscopic section of comic book readership that really barely even exists. Now, my attitude when it comes to creating comics and marketing them is the shotgun approach. I want to be Aerosmith. I don't want to be some pub singer. I want to be U2, not U2 for them, but Aerosmith's fine, even though they're past their prime. I want to be on a big stadium tour. I want a whole football arena full of fans reading my comics. Now, SJWs don't seem to want to aspire to that. They want to just appeal to the 6 smirkers that are sitting right in front of them, who will take a picture of themselves holding the comic, hashtag get woke, get broke, on Twitter. That's all it is. There is no market. There's no market for Kim and Kim. Sorry, there isn't. I hate to call that one out in particular. Nobody's buying that. Nobody's buying these books.
It's the same thing with X-Men, to be honest with you. People do buy X-Men to collect it, but I have very, very few folks that tell me that they are actually selling it to people who read it. Out of the 3 comic book shops that I frequent, they say that their sales are less than they've ever been for X-Men, and that's my big thing because X-Men is my jam.
Yeah, well, you need a PhD in X-Men to understand what the hell is going on in that book anymore. That's a big problem in that book. And then, I don't understand how it's so hard to just not. Why don't you give us a giant size X-Men team in a book? That's the team everybody likes. They don't want to do that because it seems like, we want to get the characters we made in there so we can make some money if they get into a movie. Mm-hmm. That's what I think is going on with that.
Yeah.
But
I was buying them for a bit too, just because, it's X-Men and have some hope and just to add to it, but it's like I stopped doing it. It's just not worth it. I'm just sticking to the back issues with it because all this stuff that's out now is just shit, and I don't,
The
why
X Force
keep
book,
even buying it?
the X Force book that just came out has the original, well, the Cable led X Force team on it. So I jumped on that. That's good, but
It's pretty
they
good.
can't do it. They can't do it with Uncanny X-Men though. They got to put these weird characters on there. I have no idea who the hell they are. What's going on?
Yeah. All right, so this guy says if I'm selling less than 10 copies as a chain of 8 stores, then it's subscription only, which
Yes.
means you have to special order it from him. They're not going to take any chances putting this on the shelves, and God, that's awesome. When carrying books of lower sale titles, we only had a 73% sell through over 6 months for a 30% profit. As such books are selling pretty much only to special orders, when a customer drops the title, we eat it. My solution, subs only on low sale titles. I'll be raising this to 15 copies after the first quarter. What publishers can do, if a book is shipping and my customers don't know about it before they come into the store, then it's just another book on the stands. Many creators do a wonderful job of sending customers after their work. Too many launch unknown. Promote. That's here comes the rush of testosterone. yes. Promote your comics. That's what this is about, guys. That's what Comicsgate is for. What do you think we're doing here? Promote your comic books. You can't just put your shit out into the world and just hope people find it because you're way too cool to sit there and ask people to check it out and talk about it.
And it's the opposite of promoting. The opposite of promoting is like sending pictures of your butthole to people.
Robbie Chocolate Starfish Rodriguez.
That is correct.
That guy lives near me somewhere in Portland. Someone was talking about him.
Wow.
At the gas station I was at. She's like, my neighbor, he draws from Marvel and he created Spider Gwen, and I just saw his movie and I was like, oh, that's the guy with the butthole.
Dude, that's fascinating. I'll tell you right now, Narwhal, my comic book shop right here in town. In fact, if Renfamous actually does buy comics, I think we shop at the same shop, which is really creepy to me.
Yeah, you'll turn to the left and see her one day and it's like,
oh God, that blue-haired weirdo. Yes,
you'll never see her. She doesn't buy comics.
You'll be able to smell the dried out, the boxed wine smell. How when you wake up as you like drink a lot, you kind of have that smell coming through your pores.
And kitty litter. We'll smell the kitty litter.
She doesn't buy any comics, so you'll never see her at a comic store. She does.
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
All right,
Would she be too scared to go into one?
Would she? I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
If you got a Party City nearby, you should go in there and look. That's where she gets all of her costume shit. You see her in there.
Oh, by the way, hello to SJW Spider-Man who's watching this.
Hello, SJW Spider-Man. It is a pleasure to hear from you. By the way, if you are watching SJW Spider-Man, I think you're racist, and I'm so sorry that you hate your life. We love our lives here over at Comicsgate, and we will celebrate every day.
Yes, we will. It's fun.
Yes, we will.
And F you. Not you. F you, SJW Spider-Man. Yes. All right, so he says, give me an incentive to carry number 2, as number 1 is too often a speculator-driven sale. Do everything you can to keep a book from falling from that threshold, and we'll do the same on our end. Once it goes below 10 copies right now, we stop tracking it, which means it's on death watch. Number 7, the problem, rushed and inconsistent scheduling. The publisher had delays, so we don't see a title for 2 months, and then we see 3 issues in 5 weeks. This may help the publisher's bottom line, but it destroys our sales tail and diminishes sales. My solution, when this pattern occurs, I'll automatically assume the burnout from overexposure is going to cost us 10% of readers. I'll be making those cuts at FOC. What is FOC? Anybody know?
No, sorry.
No, I don't know.
I'd have to Google
final order cutoff. Final order cutoff.
Operational compatibility.
Full operational capacity.
No, compatibility.
Compatibility. Okay.
Full operational compatibility.
Yeah, it's final order cutoff. Like that's the last time. Okay, got it. What publishers can do if you're late, suck it up. Don't make us retailers pay for your problem. The problem, number 8, promo items. I love nice promo items. Customers love them to some degree, but even the nicest postcard is often found in the trash can right outside the store. People don't want postcards. Customers are overwhelmed with advertisements. Some look for those that target them and react. The problem is publishers have a broad brush promotional item and then want to sell it to us. My solution, nope, not paying for your promotions. You're selling us non-returnable product with limited information, and then you want to charge us to promote it? Nuh-uh, not happening. Send us the promo items at no cost, and if it's going to raise my sales, I might give you a free counter space or free labor to bag stuff them. All true. What publishers can do. When I opened Coliseum of Comics, I did it on my own dime and didn't realize a profit for several years. Publishers seem to want to put out a new comic to instant profit. This is a broad brush statement, but we're talking about broad brush promos. Give us a minor co-op budget to print our own flyers. Co-op can take the form of funds, added discounts, or added product. So let's face it, we're not exactly partners, that's for sure. But we're all sitting at the same buffet. But the crumbs at the retail end of the table seem to be dwindling. That's because Joe Quesada needs to be smug on Twitter. That's all it is. He just needs to be like, look, my sales are... yeah, he's stealing from you. They're stealing from the retailers. That's what this is. That's all. What he's talking about is the whole thing is a scam. The whole thing is a grift at this point. This is dishonest. These books aren't selling.
They could hire somebody to actually represent their product that would actually do a good job, and Joe Quesada is destroying everything.
Mm-hmm. God damn, he says, I have 12 years of new comic sales data, but I look at the last issue when ordering comics as there is no pattern to the free fall. If this doesn't disturb you, it should. I am a single voice, but I am not alone in my concerns. Damn. This guy's a genius.
It's deep. It's very deep. I haven't seen anything like this for years. For years. I mean, this guy is Comicsgate.
He is, whether he is.
Yeah.
I want to see what the reaction to this article is going to be. What the reaction from pros are going to be, if they actually react to this article or not. If they
Probably the
care.
same reaction as that idiot that thought manga was going to help out their sales.
Yeah.
It's just, you could tell there's passion behind it. Like, this is his blood, you know?
It's his livelihood. And he's watching it become corrupted. He's watching it become, I don't know, like dishonest. And he's watching these people. I mean, really, there used to be this sense in comics that this was going to be around for a while and everybody could eat. Mm-hmm. It's okay. Just put out good comics, put out a product that makes people want to buy it. And it's going to sell and everybody's going to make millions of dollars. And they were in the 90s. Yeah. But then things changed. It used to be this. We used to have our ear to the ground. Do you remember the bad girl craze in the late 90s? The Billy Tucci?
That was my thing. I love bad girl comics.
Yeah, I would have really loved it. Yeah.
People were saying, well, what sells? Well, you put half-naked women in comics. People want comics about sexy females.
Well, did you see how everyone's reacting about Heroes in Crisis?
Yeah.
Batgirl got up and showed her bullet wound from the Joker.
Yeah.
And she turns around to show her the exit hole. And of course the outline of her butt's there, and people are going crazy. It's sexualized.
Yeah, we used to do that on purpose.
What is this, like girls in yoga pants and stuff? They want everybody running around in burqas or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what they just want something to complain about. They don't love comics. They're
grievance merchants.
I've also made a point in some of my videos about, like, they're actually like anti-feminist, because why do they hate femininity so much?
Yes.
Like,
Thank you.
I say that all the time too. It's like
Thank
the
you so
opposite of what
much.
feminism is.
Yes.
You know?
To be truly a woman, you have to be more like a man.
Yeah. So I have to say this because it's a thing that's kind of dear to my heart, because my very favorite author is Ayn Rand. And she's a capitalist. She's amazing. She's my hero, and she always will be. And she's, in my opinion, the expert point of what feminism should be and what it isn't, because she is the embodiment of approaching how to actually take and not in a dark way, not in a bad way, but take dominance over men in the sense that, hey, you are in control because of sexuality. That's the bottom line. And she's conservative, but her perspectives are great. She is actually, in my opinion, what feminism should be, and what it isn't. And so I can't say, hey, feminism is great, because it isn't what Ayn Rand is espousing.
Ayn Rand. It's pronounced Ayn.
Thank you. Thank
Ayn
you.
Rand.
Yes. I've definitely heard that. I refuse to say that.
It's hard. It's hard to remember, but yeah, it is. In any case, let me read these super chats here, and then we will get back to this discussion. Nasser Rabadi, by the way, is in the chat. He says, "I would cut my thing off if I could find it." But is that really Nasser?
Where's he at? I'll kick him.
Kareem Ganto says, "Are tarot cards safe? I'd never use a Ouija board." Are tarot cards safe, Martina?
Yeah, like I said before, you're not dealing with any spirits or summoning or invoking or anything. It's just purely kind of trying to understand yourself. So
yeah,
there's nothing dangerous about it. And like I said, they're also just collectibles. I mean, like this, they kind of like art.
I collect. Yeah, I actually will tell everybody, hey, collect for the art, because it's amazing, and it's a thing that I am actually involved in, and I don't play with them, but oh my gosh, I have some amazing art in these decks. It's so cool.
Awesome. All right, so check those out. You can actually buy your own tarot card deck as part of the Lady Alchemy graphic novel Indiegogo campaign, which is linked below the screen there. So take a look at it. Now, Mar Ant says, "Hi EVS." Thanks, Mar Ant. Hello. Comics Exposed says, "EVS, please leave the stream up for me to watch later. Can't watch right now, and quit freaking playing with Ouija boards and hats." Kate Brady says, "Went into Barnes and Noble today with my kids. I was wearing a red Cyberfrog shirt. I had 2 people come up to me and say they love EVS. Oh, we aren't alone." Wow. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
That is very nice.
Wow.
Cool.
Hail
John
Caesar.
Whalen. Yeah, right. It's amazing.
Wow.
I'm pleased. John Whalen says, "It was probably Robbie tickling you down there." Oh my God, no.
John Whalen.
Poseidon 1138 says, "So what's your persona?" I'm not a furry at all. No, I'm not. David de Bergerac says EVS is a furry. No. Mark C says, "Here's some cash for therapy." I think somebody who has a personal Elmo suit probably needs it. That's fair. Mr. Millennium says, "Ethan, I have some pictures that I drew that I want to give you." Okay, we got that one. Mark C says, "Mile High Comics closed its Glendale, Colorado location." We got a lot of stores closing down at the beginning of the year here, so it doesn't bode well. James Dean Creative Conflict says, "After reading the whole article showing the reality of business problems while making solid suggestions on fixes, I wonder if we can help." I don't know if we're meant to help. I don't know if it's in our power to help. We're doing our own thing. It's almost like can we patch up the Titanic? Probably not. Let's man lifeboats. Liam says, "Can I join? I want to talk about this topic." Sorry, Liam. Maybe tomorrow. Sierra Whiskey says, "Oh, hi, I'm Ethan Van Sciver. I'm a totally normal dude that draws frog comics while wearing a commercial grade Elmo costume." Not true. Not true. Ronnie Strike, thanks for a $10 donation. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says, "Small press pubs are too small to help stores. If Marvel and DC won't change their strategies, but Diamond also has to listen or they all suffer." Yeah, Diamond's a big thing. It's scary. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to say what needs to actually happen. Diamond's got to make some changes, and it's
you don't want to get on the bad side of Diamond.
That's correct.
It's not a good idea.
Look at this. Donald DeLay just showed up in the chat.
What did he say?
Oh, no. He's in the room. He's right here.
What's up? Donald DeLay? Pineapple pizza or something.
Oh, hey, buddy. How are you?
What's going on, everybody?
Good to have you.
What's happening?
Dude, awesome to see you. I have to tell everybody here, listen, guys, if you are not subscribed to Donald DeLay's channel, he has stepped up his game. In fact, his video editing is through the roof. His stuff is amazing. Go ahead and subscribe to him. It's incredible. I cannot suggest it a million times. That's it.
Oh, wow, thank you.
He's doing all right. I've been disliking all of his videos, so he's on his way.
That's right.
I appreciate that.
That's friendship right there. All right, Lady Alchemy and Earthbound are backed, says TK. Thanks for writing them. Keep up the good fight.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says, while this nailed retailer issues, another recent video I watched has explained how Marvel pads numbers by pushing leftist crap to library associations, then relaunches in stores by popular demand. Ragmuffin says they hate everything we are about, and yet they're always in the middle of it. Psychotics, I say. Juan Del Diablo says, you need to read Screen Rant's article on X-Men comics and the new reboot. The friendly media can't shill for Marvel anymore. Mark C says, speaking of X-Men, I'm curious what the sales would be if the John Byrne X-Men Elsewhen comics gets published. I think John Byrne, I don't know if John Byrne can sell a comic anymore. You know, it's like his fans have moved on.
Yeah.
Weird. He hasn't been around in a long time. K. Brady says, Joe Quesada's last idea was one more day. Enough said. The doctor says these are the same complaints retailers had at the Diamond Summit 2 years ago, and publishers have tripled down since then. Sons of bitches. It is. It's just all a scam. James Dean, creator of Conflict, says this is politically driven culture theft that also artificially inflates stock prices by padding ship numbers by any means necessary. Potential fraud. Diversity in Comics 2 says, it's your boy Zach. And Antonio Malpica says, Detective Dead, $600 from you burning that Ouija hat. I threw it away. Critias, I'm sorry. I did throw it away. And Critias, I'm sorry. I forgot to put you in the room. I'll put you in the room as well. A couple of people that I tend to remember people and add them later. But yes, indeed. Thank you guys. So what do you think of this? After reading that article, what is your impression, guys?
We aren't going to win unless we all actually stand by our principles. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to it. We just have to keep creating great products and keep all the BS out of our mouths. I know that sounds a little bit intense, but it's my opinion.
No, I agree with you. I think that's got to be kind of like, should be the focus of Comicsgate this year, is really working on our products and actually leaving a lot of the drama and stuff behind, even though like I know part of that actually sells, helps with sales. But if we can actually just keep making great products, they're going to be the ones who look like idiots consistently coming after people who really aren't doing anything but making great comic books. So yeah. I think that would be a good way to say, hey, listen, we're not doing anything to you. We're just doing our thing. Leave us alone. You can't make your money. That's not our problem. We're not doing anything to you. We're doing our thing over here.
Yeah, I agree with like all of that. And I think that like making good content in comic books is like key. But from what he said, it seems like there's like more to it, that like just the soul and the essence of the industry has like died, because between the promotional stuff and just like everything, he talks about how they're focused on the bottom line. All they care about is just like trying to like peddle their stuff at any cost, even if it's crap or they're screwing everyone over. And then that makes the bottom line tomorrow bad. And it's just the soul of it has been gone.
Yeah,
I think it's going to really have to depend on the retailers to do what this guy is saying too. You know, they have to stand up and have like do what he's doing with his sales to help his own store out. And then I think we're just going to have to, help with like the back issues, things like that. If you don't want to support any of the newer issues that are coming out, because of a lot of them are shit. So don't buy any of the newer stuff. Support the comic book retailers by helping with back issue sales, and then also just helping promote anything indie and putting that out there. I think
It won't happen.
Honestly,
retailers are going to die. Everybody's going to move over to either independently printing their books through Image or some other creator-owned publisher, or they're going to go into crowdfunding.
Donald,
it's up to them. Yeah.
Donald, I actually agree with that, and I think it's really sad. I don't want it to happen. I would love to combat that, but I don't think it's possible, unfortunately.
Right.
Here's
Donald,
the biggest piece of
Donald,
evidence.
Did you get that Shonen Jump app?
Yeah, I haven't subscribed.
It's amazing,
to it yet,
isn't it?
but Yeah, I haven't subscribed to it yet, but I was looking through it and I do dig it, and I am going to subscribe to it. But just to get updates on One Punch Man alone is worth it.
Yeah.
But the biggest piece of evidence you can look at that mainstream comics industry does not care about retailers and will let them die is look at the Walmart books. They could have and they should have sent those to retailers.
Yeah.
Instead of creating another big
Walmart
gimmick.
has a lot of their own like stipulations for getting those in there. I don't even think they went through Diamond with those. Like it might be a Walmart, you can only sell those to us because they have like they have like strongman policies a lot of the time. If you want to sell through them exclusively, or if you want to get in their store, they can kind of twist your arm. There's a
Walmart's
really
really
good
big on that.
documentary. It's a really good documentary. It's like Walmart something USA that breaks down the bullshit that they do to people.
Right.
Isn't there a line in The Art of War? It says, "Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake." I kind of feel that way about Marvel. I just want them to die, and I want Comicsgate to replace them completely. We can just make
Yeah, I do want them to become a
I get it,
licensed
yeah.
brand. I think maybe we could get some better books if they shut down and license.
I actually agree. I want them to shut down so we can reinvigorate the characters and it simply embolden them to continue how we remembered them in the 90s.
Plus, think of the
no.
content you can make for your channels if all of those people at Marvel lose their jobs after all this time and this smugness. I mean, you're talking 60, 70,000 view videos
You got
right
lots
there.
of hours for that. Huh?
Someone in the comments made a really good point. They say you guys seem to be oblivious to the dangers of online payment processors. Did you not see what happened to Sargon? You guys will be next on their list.
Yes, MasterCard, Patreon. These guys, I mean, they've shut down Jihad Watch. MasterCard completely separated. They said, we will not allow you to create anything on Patreon again. And this is MasterCard saying this. It's absolutely frightening. In fact, I'm going to create a second video on this. It's been the biggest thing. Patreon is a nightmare and they're destroying creative content.
Oh, yeah, I've lost like half of my fucking revenue on Patreon because
That's
of this
right.
bullshit.
That's right, Flash.
So what we need to do basically, and Martina is basically telling us of what's to come and what's probably going to come. I don't think Marvel going away is just going to mean they're going to sublet their characters over to IDW, which would be good at this point. But us replacing Marvel isn't an option. We can't do that. That's not what we're meant to do. And that would take, one of us would have to be very gifted, very lucky, and it would take 10, 15 years to grow into a big company from where we're at right now. But right now, we're doing comics our own way, and this is the way everybody probably is going to end up doing them. But in the meantime, we do have to replace these institutions with something that's unassailable by SJWs.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Peterson's working on an alternative, and he's turning away from Patreon, which is a huge blow to Patreon. I mean, he racks in a lot of money, and there's a lot of people that are turning their backs and saying, we're going to create something else. So I hope that happens soon. Like you said, it's not going to be quick. It's a project. So
I'm ready.
There's a future.
We can do it, but this is where we're starting. All we really need to do is we don't need to even look. I mean, we can look at the comic book industry and just shake our heads, which is what this video is. It makes me angry, but we're not responsible. People go, "What do you think you're going to save the comic industry?" No, not at all. That's not what we're looking to do. We're just looking to create an alternative. We're looking to preserve what was good about the comic book industry, what's good about comics.
And still have passion for it.
Yeah, taking in some refugees.
Yes, kind of.
That's funny. Yeah, I dig that. And you know what? Even so much more than just saving the comic industry, what we're doing is we're producing an alternative, and we're allowing others to think for themselves where they haven't been able to in the very, very recent history.
Yeah. It's something else, guys. It's heady stuff, and this is the year that we do it. So this is the year that we get started. So I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited to know all of you fine, creative people, and I look forward to hanging out with you guys even more in 2019. And I look forward to everybody who's in the chat. We got 1,134 people watching right now, supporting Comicsgate, supporting Lady Alchemy, and supporting Earthbound, and these are the two comics that we're doing today. By the way, Lady Alchemy got up to $28,602. Not bad. We're gonna get it to 30 pretty handily. And Earthbound is at $12,255. We're gonna get that to 15 pretty soon.
Let's get Sovereign at 25.
Yeah. Oh wow. If you're watching this now, and you're watching this later, like not live, the links are still in the description, as well as a link to the article that we just read, so that you guys can reread, peruse, and think about the article that we just went over. But for now, I want to thank absolutely everyone who was a part of this fun Comicsgate live chat. I dug it. Thanks, guys, for being here. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Ethan. Thanks, chat. Thanks, everyone.
Oh, my artist has also been watching, and he says thank you so much for plugging it and really helping us out. Thank you.
I'm glad I could show up at the last minute to take all the credit for making it fun.
Donald, hey, and if there was any, I gotta say it, I really do, because I've finally been upping my video quality, and I feel good about it. Donald's stuff is high tier now, high tier. Please, if you have not subscribed to Donald DeLay's channel, do it, and then subscribe to me, of course.
Absolutely. Subscribe to all of these channels. We've got Comic Girl Ava, Donald DeLay, Gateway into Comics. We've got Akari Press, Lady Alchemy. Is that the name of your channel, or is it Martina Marcota?
It's funny. I have two. The main one that I use, that I stream and do all this stuff on, is Martina Marcota, but Lady Alchemy is a channel as well.
Okay.
I don't do much on it.
Narwhal, you have your own channel, right? It's called Narwhal.
Yeah, it's called Narwhal Books, and I got a show on Sundays called The Writers Room, where we write short comics and then try and draw them.
I love your stuff, Narwhal. Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Nathan Brendan Masters here is Timecode Mechanics. His channel is rad. He's really reminds me of like early Comicsgate YouTube. He would have easily fit in with the Captain Cummings crowd. I mean that in a positive way. The Captain Cummings crowd and all that. Very enjoyable channel. And of course, Yellow Flash has 800 different Yellow Flash channels at this point.
No, just two.
Oh, just two. Okay.
Yellow Flash Inc. and Yellow Flash 2. Very simple.
Nice. All right. Subscribe to all of those, and you guys have a great night. Support these comics again. We'll see you again tomorrow for another Comicsgate Live. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.